Today's February 6th. Okay, guys. Please, God, tell me this isn't what they think is a starter. You're listening to the Bridge to Buctober podcast.
I'm bummed out. Yeah.
Yins, guys! Thank you for listening to the Bridge to Buctober podcast, where we talk all about them Pittsburgh Pirates and that. Jake's here. I'm here.
Well, Lottie frickin' God!
Friday is Hawaiian Shirt Day. So, if you want to, go ahead and wear a Hawaiian shirt and jeans.
I'm bummed out. Yeah.
Oh, it's gotta be a joke.
The Pittsburgh Pirates, your favorite baseball team, have apparently, reportedly, as I hold out hope in the back of my head, agreed to terms on a 1-year deal with the right boxer, Tommy Pham. This is where we are,
It's gotta
man.
be a joke, bro. Where's Ashton Kutcher? We're getting punked.
Let's fail the physical. Fail the physical.
I'm bummed out. Yeah.
Hey, on a good note, maybe opening day tickets just went down.
Whatever projection I was going to have for this team, I just subtracted 3 wins from that win total. We just got worse today, Jake.
Yeah.
Subtraction by addition.
Yeah. I mean, trust me, for the past while now, I've been just trying to find some silver lining.
Yeah,
Can't find it.
listen, we Doug here points out, focus on the positive. Focus on the positive, Booths. We literally
I'm bummed out.
I feel like anytime somebody puts it in there, it's happening.
Yeah.
We try to do that a lot here. We do try to find like benefit of the doubt. We try to find like you said, silver lining.
Mm-hmm.
And there are some, like, here's the thing. If this was another guy with the same exact numbers, maybe even the same exact age, the same exact money, but a different name and a different past, it's like one of those things where I'm like, I would try to find something. I'd try to find something about it. The problem is we all have our list, right? We all have our guys. And my list at the very top starts with Ryan Braun. I got that too.
Dang it, Bobby.
It starts with Ryan Braun. It goes to Carlos Gomez. It goes to Javi Baez. It goes to Tommy Pham.
Mm-hmm.
And I looked back. I started clicking through because I had a buddy say, who is this in the past for you? Right? I said, I think the last guy that I disliked was Rich Hill. And that wasn't until he got here and I watched what he does on the field.
Yeah.
Right? That's the last guy. That's like, and I don't mean, like, I understand. We all have our things, right? And we're going to say, well, this guy did this thing off the field. This guy in his personal life did this. This guy in his, right? And so, like, I get all that. So Like I'm talking about literal on-field things. Okay? I'm talking about fighting all the time, bad attitudes, complaining, this whole tough guy facade that actually is just whining. You know what I'm saying? I don't start things, I finish them. Like, come on, man, you're playing baseball. That's why I fight all off season. That's who this guy is. That's who we've brought in a clubhouse full of, you get Nutting, who likes to bring in character guys, and then you bring in this. It's like the complete opposite thing that they've tried to do. And I just don't. This is it right here. 10 organizations in 12 years. You know why? Because nobody can stand to have him there. Nobody likes him.
How can you root for somebody who literally punched Mike Trout in the face?
Not Mike Trout. He slapped Jock Peterson.
Mike Trout.
It was Jock Peterson. Mike Trout was the president of the fantasy football.
That's right.
And he went out and hit, which is another strike because I like Jock Peterson, right?
Right.
Katie was like, why are we mad? I said he slapped Jock Peterson right in the face on the field with no prompt, just walked up to him and hit him. She's like, I hate him. She's a Jock Peterson guy too. Or she likes Jock Peterson. She's not a guy. I'm smiling, but I mean, this one stings. It's just like when your team signs a guy you can't stand.
Yeah.
It's just a tough thing. And then, so now that I'm moving on, guys, here we go. Queen's got me. Try to find the humor. Right? And it's just, you guys are killing me. The chat's going to save me tonight. They really are. They're going to save me. We're going to be all right. The thing is, outside of the personal, I understand everybody might not have this feeling about Tommy Pham that I do, right? But I'm a fan, and this is my show, so I'm gonna express that. Ron Heichel, there we go. Root beer. Do you have any?
I'm water tonight.
I am literally water tonight too. If you've heard the last two shows here, the voice has been coming back pretty nicely. So yeah, I'm water tonight as well. So we'll get back on the train here soon. The thing is like the baseball aspect of this the baseball aspect of this doesn't really make sense either, Jake. Here's the thing. Let's go back to Adam Frazier. Because we all ask, like, how does this make sense? What are we doing with Adam Frazier? And I made the argument that getting a veteran to be a bench player is a smart move. Because you can take a young player and play him every day. In Indianapolis, right? And I understand you got to see Major League Pitching, but nothing makes you better in baseball than just playing baseball.
Mm-hmm.
Certainly not. I get it, facing the good pitching, but part-time just doesn't get it, right? And so I could make some sense out of Adam Frazier coming into here and doing this. But now after this, I feel less so about Adam Frazier. Does that make sense?
Yeah. I get that. Because you got Adam Frazier's the guy who's going to actually be a good role player, team player, good for the clubhouse.
Yeah, and then it feels
not great for the clubhouse, but good for the clubhouse.
Yeah,
and you got the complete opposite, which this right here actually scares me a little bit. I'm not gonna lie. Skeens will put Pham in line. I have no doubt. That to me scares me because Pham won't want to hear it.
Yeah.
Pham might punch Paul Skeens.
No, that won't happen. No. He knows how to not pick a fight with somebody much bigger than him like that.
Yeah, sorry. I thought you.
That's all right.
Yeah, no, I don't know. It just it's nerve-wracking to me.
Mike says no one on the team better play fantasy football with him. That's really it, though.
We just
Don't gamble with him at all.
have this whole core. No.
Because that's what he
We
said.
have this whole core, right? That's getting there, trying to get to one place, and now you have like a mole, and it's really nerve-wracking to me. I don't like it.
Yeah. If Bob Nutting is worried about the situation, Jake, you can't make this stuff up. He's got an incentive. Hopefully he's traded before that incentive comes into play, because if you don't give Tommy Pham an incentive, he won't be as nice as Rowdy Tellez was.
Right.
He won't be understanding the way IKF was. He's going to blast that thing, and people are going to pile on. He'll get traded before that. They won't be able to hold on to him that long.
I don't think so. I don't know. This one blows. Like I told you before, you're like, you got your thoughts together? I'm like, no, I'm speechless on this one. Like this is one that I'm just completely fumbling words because I can't figure out the right ones to come out. I don't get this one.
All right, so let's cover a couple things about it. Let's talk through a couple things about this. It is a $4 million contract. Now, we've talked about this before, Jake. We understand the way that the money is strapped here in Pittsburgh.
Dang it, Bobby.
And we understand that there are limitations. But $4 million is $4 million. That money is a backup. That's what that money is.
Yeah.
And so when you think of it that way, it's not like he's overpaid. It's not anything like that. It's not about, I can't believe we're wasting $4 million. Now, I made the case that Adam Frazier, 1.5, right? If that doesn't work, you cut him. $4 million is probably that line. Like, you're not just going to cut a $4 million player. You're going to want to get as much as you can. You're going to want to trade him. You're not just going to let him go and pay him that money. That's not going to happen, especially not for the Pirates. So we're beyond that point. 1.5, yes, you could say, I'll pay him to not play for us.
Yeah.
Not this guy. You're not going to do that. You're going to move a $4 million contract because we're the Pirates, right? Obviously, if you're the Dodgers, they just DFA'd a guy that's making 4.5. We're not the Dodgers. So you start to talk about the money. It's not terrible. It's $4 million. It's, you know what I mean? It's essentially a backup. But okay, so Mike says Laureano signed for $4 million with Baltimore. And I see your point there, but I'm going to go back to he signed for $4 million to be a backup. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
So I'm going to use your
Double down on that a little bit.
I'm going to use your message there, Mike, to kind of prove me a point here. But it is backup money. There is a chance that this team sneaks in and still makes a move to get a right fielder. And then Billy Cook doesn't have a spot. Right?
Mm-hmm.
There's still a chance of that. But Jake, we just looked at the numbers. Oh, wait. I'm trying to do something, right? I'm trying to come up with something positive, right? This guy has a career. He's close to getting his 10 years in the league, right? Albeit with fighting, but he has a career. Listen to this, Jake. He needs 15 hits to get to 1,000. Okay. He needs 11 home runs to reach 150. Okay. He needs 17 doubles to get to 200 doubles. And like I said, 9 years and 92 days, he'll reach 10 years of service. Why is that important, right? That's when you get your pension. You can retire now and do the whole thing with 10 years of service. Right? So that's the big one.
Yeah.
You don't get to 10 years, Jake, unless there is some value. You can look, but you remember when he played for the Cardinals. You remember that there was a guy there tucked away in there who could hit you 20 homers. He's not that guy anymore. He's not going to do that now. But the big problem is as he's aged, his platoon splits are opposite. He's actually better against right-handers right now. So where we wanted a left-handed hitter to be, or just go with Jack or Palacios,
Mm-hmm.
and then go Billy Cook. Now, is your platoon Billy Cook and Tommy Pham, and you at PNC Park decided that you're going to go with a right-hander, a right-handed hitter, a right-handed hitter in this lineup. We didn't need a right-hander. We needed a lefty bat. We always need lefty bats. We play at PNC Park. We don't want right-handers. We got enough of those. If you don't have a left-handed heavy lineup for PNC Park against right-handed pitching, like I said before, a smart play right now is for this team to employ a platoon or two. That would be the smart way to win more games. You got to have more lefties.
Yeah. There's no way you use him and Billy Cook. No way.
I think they will. Right now, that's what it looks like. Until they come out and say something like this is a good depth piece. We think he can play a role on this team and get opportunities to play and make the best of them. Unless he's a safety net for Jack Sawinski or Joshua. Like, if you're going to give those guys a chance to start, and then, if they don't work out, we've got Tommy Pham, then this guy's the starter. He's going to play against right-handed pitching.
I don't see it. Because it's not like his numbers aren't that much different. Right?
Then,
like, his splits aren't like, it's not a crazy split, right?
I think so. The last two seasons, what season is this? How do I even know? I don't know anymore. This is 2024. This is last year. Against lefties, he hit 222. Against righties, he hit 256.
Yeah, but his on base is only 10 points ish.
Your OPS is a 674 against both. I get that. So technically, it's pretty even in the OPS category. And I know that's
slugging was 15 points higher against lefties. His OPS plus was a point different.
I get it, but he had 108 bats against lefties. He had 332 against righties. He had 17 doubles against right-handers. He just popped some more homers against lefties. He hits for less average, but he's still got the homers. Right? And then you go to 2023, and I'm not going any further back than that. This guy's aging. He's on the wrong side of 35. I'm not going back to the 35 and below.
Right.
245 to 262, another 20-point dip. But again, he hit the homers. And that one was a little bit closer. This was I should have done 23 first, right? And then went to 24. I just don't know, man.
Gosh, he was terrible down the stretch last year.
Yeah.
He did all his damage was done early.
When he was with the White Sox.
Yeah, like they split it, the splits through the months. April, March, a 115 OPS, then a 124 in May, 77 in June, 110 in July, 47 in August, and 69 in September. 47 and 69 to close. That's
OPS plus, yeah.
Yeah. That's when you're looking at like, that's when I need my guys to come through.
That's down the stretch. That's when he went to the Royals. His third team of the season.
Just wild.
So I also what was it, Wednesday? Wednesday morning. SteelCityPirates.com. I put out a piece about why not Verdugo, which didn't last very long.
No.
I was kind of hoping maybe if they landed him, I could say, look, this might be okay. But now, because when I started looking at Verdugo, I thought, Jake, maybe Horwitz and Verdugo and Frazier, maybe there's an intentionality here to say, listen, if we can't buy power, at least we can hit the ball more often and not strike out.
Yeah.
How does Tommy Pham do in this? How's Tommy Pham in the strikeout numbers? Where are we at? Dang it, I had it up. Here we go. 26% with the Royals down the stretch. 22 overall, so that's not terrible. For his career, 23.5. So you can, you know what I mean? It's a little bit less. It's not what those other guys are who are under 20%, but a 26%, 22. We'll just give him a full season. 22. So we're close, but I don't feel like it's the same thing. And he's not left-handed. So it just doesn't play for me. Connor Joe's better against lefties. And he's not a good outfielder anymore, for sure. Connor Joe's going to be better against lefties. Why just keep him?
Yeah. Yeah.
Billy Cook. I mean, you don't keep him because Billy Cook is him, right? That's why you don't keep Connor Joe. Billy Cook is Connor Joe with more potential.
Right.
So that's why you don't keep Connor Joe. Yeah, I just don't understand bringing in a right-handed bat at all.
No.
Period. For the outfield. Unless he's just, this is our starter. I don't know why you would bring in a guy who hits right-handed.
No. I don't.
It doesn't make sense to me. And like I said, I'm probably to a fault the biggest benefit of the doubt guy. I'm going to constantly say, maybe this is what they're thinking. Because we don't know. So maybe this is what they're thinking. I can't figure it out on this one. It's not a character guy. It's not a leadership guy. And it's not a really good player anymore. I just can't find it in there. I'm looking through the chat. I want somebody to say they're excited about it. Dave White says this move sends Cook to Indy. Maybe. Cook is now competing with Palacios and Sawinski.
I don't think so.
Why?
I don't think they're going to do that. I don't care what the numbers say. They're not going to platoon a righty against righties.
At that case, they're not platooning. At that case, he just won the job. And then it matters who won the fourth outfield job.
They're going to have Tommy Pham against lefties, and they're going to have Sawinski or Palacios against righties.
First off, I think you have to let spring training go to see. If neither one of those guys are good and Pham's handling righties, they're going to go with Pham. They're not just going to automatically give it to one of those guys.
Right, but I think the plan is right now. Like I'm not talking about down the stretch. I'm talking about what they're thinking about right now. They're Cooks and Indy
to start the season. But I'm saying if Cook outplays Sawinski and Palacios, he's not.
I understand
because he also gives you first base.
I'm not talking about playing time. I just preface that with the fact that I'm saying on paper right now.
But I'm saying coming out of spring, he has it doesn't automatically send him to Indy.
You're right on there.
Okay.
You're right on there. I'm talking about now. You're talking about the future.
No, I'm talking about going into the season. Does he go to Indy or does he not? To open the season. That's what we were talking about. I don't think this automatically sends him to Indy for opening day.
No.
Okay, well, that's what I was saying.
But as it stands right now, this move sends him to Indy unless Cook gives you a reason not to.
Okay.
That's what everybody's saying right now.
Ron says, box it, spending 5 on Grichuk, but okay, 4+ for Pham. So the thing about Grichuk is, it doesn't matter. We could have offered 8. The book on Grichuk is right now is that's where he wanted to be.
Yeah.
He was there last year. His wife apparently has family there or something along the lines of that. I could be misquoting that. But yeah, not what the team needed, Dave says. And then somebody else popped in. I clicked on the wrong thing. Pitt City, what? His defense stinks, right? Should have paid more for Verdugo. Here's the thing. Let's be delusional for a second. They still could. They really still could. They really still could. There's money available that they still could spend money on Verdugo. The only thing that makes sense to me on this is that they weren't getting Verdugo. So they went with Pham. They said this came up. This happened fast is what the report is, right? And so my guess is that Verdugo said, I'm out. And they said, pivot.
Yeah. They should have
That's
took
my
another
guess,
minute.
right? That's my guess. So I don't know. But I obviously don't know.
Yeah.
But I really do think that there's still, if Pham was left-handed, I would say, yes, there's no shot at Verdugo. It would be silly. But he's not. So there is still like, okay, it could be that. It could be a trade, Jake. Laureano did sign with the Orioles. There is a logjam in the outfield, and they signed 2 outfielders this year. Granted, -1, Santander, but there was already a logjam. There already wasn't room.
Yeah.
When Santander left, it was like, oh, now we have room. But instead, they brought in Tyler O'Neill and they brought in Ramon Laureano.
Yeah.
So now you're looking at, I mean, everybody, right? That's the first thing we thought of was, who's available over there? And you're either
Right.
getting one of 2 people, right? You're either getting Mullins because he's on his last year of his contract, or you're going after Heston Kjerstad.
Yeah.
And go ahead, Jake. We watched him hit BP. Who you going after?
I'm going after Kjerstad.
Listen, Kjerstad, that was the most impressive round of BP I think I've ever seen.
Yeah. Yeah. It was
Easy
ridiculous.
flick. When I say flick, like this guy wasn't swinging his hardest. And when I say
No.
he was hitting him off the batter's eye, he was doing so on a line drive.
Batter's eye, scoreboard, nothing was safe out there.
No. And it was, I mean, the power's real for that
lasers.
dude.
He
Lasers.
was hitting lasers. And then a couple moonshots.
We thought it was Holiday.
Yeah.
We first walked up. We were talking to Ryan Ripken. He started talking
Mhm.
up Kjerstad, and he was like, this dude. And we were like, oh, I just assumed it was Holiday. He's like, no.
No.
He's like, Holiday don't have that. He's got probably better, well-rounded, but
Yeah.
Gigamosher says the Cardinals traded for him at the deadline, going back to Pham here, then cut him 23 games later. Good luck selling him this year. But that's what they're going to do. That's what they've been doing. So last year was the 3 teams, but every team. This is funny. Steel City DW. And here we thought Verdugo was the player we didn't want because he's a hothead. Pham starts fights with fans. Oh, no. Pham finishes fights. That's what he says. Pham doesn't start fights.
Yeah.
He says, why you think I fight all offseason? You fight all season, dude.
You fight all year.
And I think sometimes that Verdugo, by the way, the hothead thing, I think sometimes Verdugo gets a bad rap because the Mr. D starter kit. You know what I mean? I think he gets a little bad rap because of the gold chains.
Yeah.
I think there's not a little less.
He did say that, right?
What?
He said he wants to go somewhere where he can wear his chains, grow his beard, and be himself.
Oh, I'm not surprised. Yeah. Talk about a down year. You talk about his batting gloves. He had an allergic reaction to his batting gloves. He was hitting with blisters, taping his hands up. I mean, no wonder he had a bad year.
Yeah.
I actually, when I started really digging in, I was like, oh my gosh, we gotta land this guy. And
Yeah.
Anyway, maybe it'll still happen. Dave says, what other team would have paid him $4 million? That's a good question. What's Baseball Reference have that he made last year? It doesn't have anything. But 2023 looks like, he made $6 million plus 1.5 from Boston. That was a buyout of a contract option. So 6 million, 8.9, 7.9. These are his early 30s. I'm sure it's been under that. I don't know what he made last year. But I can imagine 4 million is probably pretty close. Like I said, as a backup outfielder, 4 million is probably close to what he should get.
Yeah.
I really think that. I don't think that this is an outlandish amount of money for a player like this.
No.
There is some value in the actual baseball, really at the plate, but there is some value there, ability wise. 37, did we say?
Yeah, he'll be 37.
So 37, it's like, yeah, this is your last, maybe. I think 4 million's probably fair.
Yeah.
The problem is we talk about this all the time. And you can look at a guy on paper and you can say he's worth X amount of money. But if he's a clubhouse guy and he does things like, I know Kutch is only asking for 5 million. He's probably worth double that, right?
Yeah.
In free agent market right now, he's probably worth double that, and maybe give or take. But the point is like, he's worth that because of the fact that he brings some extra things to the table.
Right.
And when you have a guy like this, it's like, yeah, I mean, we'll pay him 4 million, but you're not getting anything else but that production on the field. And there's a chance you get something worse and you deal with something else. Now, I would be foolish, Jake, to come into this upset because of somebody's past and say that not everybody is worth. There you go. Gigamosher says Pham made 3 million last year. So we're right around there. That's fair. So maybe it's a little up, or I mean, he could have been underpaid last year too. I think he didn't sign until the season started last year, so he would have accepted that. So he signed in April of last year. So, and there you go, 3.9 million with incentives and signed in April. So he'd already lost some of that. Essentially, it would have been 4 million probably. So, and this year it's actually, what is it? 4.025 with 250,000 in incentives, something like that. So whatever. But back to what I was saying, I'm a second chance guy, right? I believe in second chances. I believe in listening and hearing somebody out. So if there's something there, fine. I'll raise my hand. I'll say, let's move on. This is nowhere near Rowdy Tellez, right? But just the magnitude of like, oh, Rowdy I didn't like him, and then you like him. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Just as the guy. For him, it was less the baseball, and then for a couple months the baseball. But there are guys that you get them on your team a little bit better. Dietrich is on all of our lists too, somewhere on that list. And I got a buddy who loves him because he's a Reds fan, right? So he's like, oh, that half a season was great.
Yeah.
So I get it. And I'm always gonna be like that. So I'm upset today because it happened today. The funny thing is, if this would have came out Monday, I wonder what this show would be like. I wonder how I'd be now. Bucko Mike opening some cards here. 89 Donruss box sucked worse than Pham. So you didn't get a $4 million card. Okay. So waste 4 million. Great idea. Doug Smith says someone's getting DFA'd with the Pham signing. Who is it? That's a good question. Let's go to that.
Great question.
Let's go ahead and say Alika Williams DFA'd because of they announced the Tim Mesa deal.
Mm-hmm.
So just to say that. But somebody else is gone now too, Jake. What do you think? Who's on your list? Alika's gone now. It's probably not a pitcher at this stage of things. Who do we think? Put it in the chat. Who do you guys think? Let me take a look at the roster here.
That's what I'm trying to look up real quick.
I have the non-rosters pulled up, so I had it here. But I mean, some of your candidates here are going to be G1 Bay. I mean, let's get real. Leover Peguero, Sung-Chae Cheng, which would be interesting. And then you can go to the 40-man and say Wentz and Strzelecki, Chase Shugart, who you brought in this year. Obviously not Mesa. Brett DeGoss. Yeah, there you go. Bucko Mike says DeGoss. Bay Billy says. That's kind of your list. That's your list. I mean, you're running out of guys to can. Maybe we'll get into that here in a minute to try to lighten up the mood a little bit. Giga Mosher says, with the Astros linked to Verdugo the last few days, I don't know about that one. Maybe talking about me making a comment saying there's possibility you could bring him back in. But the Astros just signed Ben Gamel to a major league contract. That seems to me like they're out on
They got him
Verdugo.
on a major league contract?
I believe so.
I just assumed it was minor league.
Let me look.
He signed a minor league contract last year, didn't he?
Hold your horses. Keep looking. Keep talking about that. About who you're letting go on that.
Yeah, my computer's like froze.
I just gave you the list.
can't
Do you
do
remember
anything.
them? G1 Bay.
Probably. I'm thinking DeGoss or Bay would be the two that are probably on the hottest seat, I should say.
Yeah, I think that's fair.
I think Piguero. I still think there's a chance he's playing for us in the major leagues this year. Yeah, I think there's a path there, albeit not a wide one, but I think there's a path.
I'm sorry, for who?
Piguero.
Oh, yeah. I mean, I threw it out there. This is his last option year. So I threw it out there. I didn't think it was him either. I was making sure I gave you the extensive list there. Sherrod says Strzelecki or Bay. Steel City DW says Shugart. I'm not finding this Ben Gamel. There it is. Astros re-signed Ben Gamel on a 1-year major league contract.
Okay.
$200K signing bonus, $1 million base salary if he breaks camp. But it is a major league deal. But once again, $1 million, you could let that go. So yeah, for me, the Gamel thing is kind of like a non-Verdugo. For me, I don't know though.
Yeah.
I don't know.
Yeah, I mean, I guess there's, because my computer's being dumb, I'm like, I don't memorize 40 names a lot of times.
No, but that's the list.
I'm seeing some names in here, and yeah, I mean, there's names that they could cut ties with, and I don't see it hurting anything. I just don't know if any of them are worth, adding Pham and getting rid of anyone.
Yeah. Sherrod says Strzelecki has no options, so that is interesting. Yeah, saw Vincent Velasquez got signed yesterday. I think Cleveland, right? Minor league deal with Cleveland.
I didn't see that one.
Gamel signed with the Astros. He's not available. Oh man. By the way, Billy says, why would you pivot to Pham? I would have taken David Peralta. That's interesting. Where are you at on David Peralta? Once again, a lefty.
Yeah.
It's kind of been a minute for him too, but
yeah,
I mean, we're talking
I've
about
always
Pham.
liked him a little bit,
Sure. Yeah, Cleveland. For Vinny V. Okay, we just looked at this. Alika's gone. One other guy's gone. Strzelecki, Bay. Probably the two front runners there. DeGoss, maybe. If that's it, is that good? Is there any feel good there that there's like not a lot of names you want to get rid of on a 40-man roster? Is that anything for you?
Yeah, I mean,
I'm reaching.
something.
I might be reaching here, but I feel like there might be something to that, right?
Yeah.
You feel pretty decent
40's
about.
a lot.
The problem is there's depth on this team, right?
Yes.
We talked about this before. There's depth on this team. There just might not be starters. You know what I mean?
Right.
Like there's major league players.
That's the worry right there.
And they're certainly not stars. What's the lineup? What's the lineup look like for you? I'm going to pull this up. We did do this, so I'm going to pull this up. We did this right before we got on. We did a last minute, so you can make changes if you want. I'm going to use these little things. Here's a couple lineups for you, and let's compare them. Okay?
Mhm.
So we just said we were going to do righties, right? So I went ahead with Cruz. We have Cruz and McCutchen flipped. Okay? But I mean, look where you found, Tommy Pham because he's a veteran. I don't feel bad putting him in a 5-hole. I mean, Fangraphs has him in the leadoff. Like, what are they drinking?
Well, spent all of his time last year in the leadoff spot.
Did he really? Maybe that's what they're thinking then.
Because
you ain't putting Verdugo there. What's that?
So my computer's starting to work a little bit.
Okay.
I had his splits up, and it was by
yeah, I can look. So
batting
you don't.
positions. He had 75 games, 332 plate appearances at leadoff.
Yeah, and the next most was batting second, 17 games.
Mm-hmm.
And a much better hitter. Batting second. Even better batting. Well, that's a very small sample.
Yeah.
Maybe that's why his numbers are so bad. The batting leadoff.
Leadoff.
I don't know.
I don't know, man.
Steel City says, I'd rather have Hayward than Pham.
Yeah. Absolutely.
The problem is now we're just picking, like, if you're going to have Hayward and he's more than $4 million, just sign Pham for $4 million, because neither one of them matter. It's not good enough, right?
Yeah. But
so just
Hayward's
save the
a
money.
lot better in the locker room.
That's true. That's
a
true.
Lot better.
Matt says Bay, by the way, for the DFA. Yeah, that's true. The locker room is a big deal, obviously. Gigamosher says Horwitz should be their leadoff hitter, if not Kutch, in my opinion. He's going to get on base a ton. That's a good point. Here's why I like him in a different role. I like him there because of the bat to ball. And part of what I wrote about Verdugo was broken down to runner on third with less than 2 outs. And what the Pirates did last season. Listen, guys, SteelCityPirates.com. I know we're not getting Verdugo, but go read it anyway. What the Pirates did with less than 2 outs and a runner on third versus what Verdugo did. Just last year, I mean, Verdugo only got 20 plate appearances with that scenario, but he did not strike out at all in those situations. A 0% strikeout rate. I would imagine that a guy like Horwitz, with a bat to ball situation guy, even if he flies out, it's productive. You got to put bat to ball. So I kind of see a guy like Spencer Horwitz, if he's right after the middle of the order, you're going to get up with guys in runners in scoring position, guys on third with less than 2 outs. And I'd just rather someone be there who's not going to strike out. That's why I have him down there. So, I mean, you've got him 4. So, I mean,
There's not a ton of options.
No, and Kutch is good, and you know they've used Cruz there, which is why I went with Cruz. We both got IKF batting last and Key. I don't know that they'll bat Key 8th. If they're making the shots, I don't know that they'll do that. I think if he's there and he's a long-term guy, I think he'll be maybe hitting in the 5 spot, and they'll move some guys around.
Yeah.
If so, I got to be honest, I might like the string of guys at the bottom of the order. And then you have Cruz and Reynolds to knock them in.
Yeah.
All right. Where are we at? Okay. We're close. Listen, Jake, this team, we talk about guys that need to put them over the edge to maybe put them in the playoffs, or I don't think we're there to say this team's going to win the division.
No.
I don't think there's anybody we can sign in right field that will say, now I think they're a division winner. I think the team could somehow strike gold and have a magical season if the rest of the division is down. But listen, the people are going to talk about this division, about how bad it is, about how bad it was last year. But Pirates were in last place in this division last year, Jake. The last place team in every other division was worse than the Pirates.
Yeah.
Every other division, they had a team worse than the Pirates. And 2 or 3 of the divisions had 2 teams worse than the Pirates. This team is close, or this division is close. There's not bad teams here. I really believe that. They're not bad teams. There's just no great teams.
Right.
Every one of these teams are worse than the Dodgers, the Mets, the Phillies, and the Braves.
Yeah.
But they're all tighter. They're not as bad as the Marlins. They're not as bad as the Rockies. They're not as bad as the Angels or the White Sox. They're not as bad as who was in last place in the AL East. Well, AL East is kind of the most underwhelming division right now because they're supposed to be a powerhouse.
Was it Tampa Bay last year?
It might have been. I don't know. Either way, they I think it was Toronto. I think they ended worse than the Pirates. That probably won't happen again.
No.
But the thing is like, okay, so the Brewers lost a couple guys. The Cubs got some good players. I mean, you get Tucker in there. That's a huge bump.
Yeah.
I mean, the Cubs look like the team on paper right now.
Mm-hmm.
But the Reds just added Tito, which you can't put on paper. You can't.
You can't.
But they also made moves that were good. In this division, my favorite offseason is the Cincinnati Reds. Because they've done things. They got rid of India and brought in Gavin Lux in separate moves. I like India better than Lux, but they have Lux and Singer.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? So like that makes it better. They built a team. They made moves that seemed to say this was what would work for us.
Mm-hmm.
And then also you just have Tito.
Yeah.
But their floor
probably
is
the
much
biggest move.
lower. Their floor is much lower.
Yeah. I agree with that.
We'll do those. I've got it in my head what I think the standings could be and whatever else, but this division's not bad. It's just not good. When we were winning back in 13, 14, and 15, you had the Cubs and the Reds at different years. You had the Reds first, then the Cubs came up, and then the whole time the Cardinals were great. You win 98 games, you can't even get a division win.
Yeah.
That's not this division right now.
No.
But
Not
it's
at all.
not bad. You're just not gonna luck into it.
Right.
You know what I mean? Like the
It's just-
AL
yeah.
Central has been in some years where, not now, because the Tigers and Royals are moving things, right?
Mm-hmm.
They're doing things. They're looking good. So not right now, but what they've been, where you could kind of be like, dude, we could be like, there's going to be one or two teams over 500 in that division. Not anymore, right?
Yeah. But you had the White Sox that just everybody beat up on, made those teams
Made those
records
teams
look,
better. You're right.
Better.
Steel City says, I'm never sympathetic for the Reds, but they had bad luck last year. A lot of that's their manager. They had the worst manager in baseball.
Mm-hmm.
And now they have a Hall of Famer. You think all those one-run games they lost, they're going to lose again? There's going to be some shifting there. Gigamosher says the Cubs or Brewers will definitely win 90 plus. If everything clicks for Cincinnati, they could too.
Mm-hmm.
I don't think Pittsburgh or St. Louis has a shot. I think if everything clicks, they're in the high 80s. If I'm saying that magical season.
Right. Right.
But yeah, I agree with that. But either way, the whole reason we're mad is because this team's not bad. There's a lot of promise here. There's a lot of things that could go right for the Pirates. And it feels like you just didn't get them the support to make that happen. That's
Right.
why we're frustrated. But I hear a lot about how bad this offense is. It's not. It's not.
There's
Nick
just not a lot of-
Gonzalez.
There's just not a lot of power.
You're looking at guys who need to take a step forward.
Yeah.
And we're all afraid because that year last year was Jack Sawinski who needed to just come into his own and he regressed. And so you're worried. Is that going to happen to Nick Gonzalez? Is that going to happen to O'Neal Cruz? Is that going to happen to even Jared Triolo? Whatever. You know what I mean? Is that going to happen to Joey Bart? Is that going to happen to Spencer Horwitz, who's only had 97 games in the show? There's a lot of question marks. It could go bad,
Mm-hmm.
but there's enough to say that there's good enough players here that they could use a guy in right field that could support that.
Yeah.
And they didn't go get one. They haven't gone and got one. There's still more time. Unless I go to Twitter and find out that Verdugo signed somewhere. Nope, don't see it. Oh, wait, it just refreshed. Nope, don't see it. I was like, oh, crap. That's Yohan Moncada. We're good. I don't know, man.
Yeah, I'm still hoping and crossing my fingers, whatever you want to call it, holding out that, sophomore slump was up with Sawinski. But
Yeah. Steel City said, my biggest problem right now is that we're so close. And all we thought Bob and Ben just might say, we're close. Let's spend a little to get us there. But nope. So that's the thing, though. We are close. Closer than a lot of people want to admit.
Yeah. And like you said, there is still an opportunity for progression in a lot of these positions.
Yeah.
From guys who are young.
You went out and you got 2 left-handers that's a fair. I think they did fine with the bullpen. Mm-hmm. I like Horwitz.
Yeah.
All in all, I like Horwitz. I don't know if he's certainly not the power that we thought we were going to get, but we have a problem with strikeouts too. And so hopefully this guy adds to what this team is doing. I don't hate it, but it was contingent on what they did in right field. So let's go back to that. Now that Ron, my biggest problem now is no frickin' root beer. Yeah, you're right. Yeah. Fair call out, man. Yeah. Man, I sure hope that Tommy Pham is the Adam Frazier move and it just happened before the starter. I have no faith that that's the case right now.
No, we're running out of roster room for that to be the case.
Yeah. There's options. Billy Cook is the move down. Palacios and Sawinski are down. That's the moves for the outfield. And then you run with Reynolds, Cruz, Pham, and Verdugo. And that's your outfield.
Yeah.
And if that's the case, outside of the fact that I don't like Pham because of the attitude and the fighting, I could get behind that, baseball-wise. And I could say, hey, and then you let Jack earn his spot. And if he's raking and there's an opportunity, you bring him up. And you give him opportunity. Yeah. And then move Verdugo if they're both doing good. I don't know how you do that. I mean, if Jack's hitting in AAA, that doesn't mean he's going to hit in the majors. But opportunities will always show up for you. There's no way everybody's healthy all year. Opportunities will arrive. They always will. Pit City What says KG got invited to spring training. I love that. Connor Griffin. That is really cool.
Mm-hmm.
That is really cool. Maybe we'll talk about the spring training invites as we move closer. But yeah, last thing here, Mike says, I think they're giving Jack an opportunity to come back and win the job. Jake, you're on that train right now too.
Yes.
And I'm happy about it. And if he does, this team's better for it.
Yeah.
But if he doesn't, you're going to see Tommy Pham.
Yeah. Run home, Jack. Run home, Jack.
This I did not know. Steel City DW says there is a whole Reddit called Why Does Every Fan Base Tommy Pham Played For Hate Him? That's wild. He's not even the guy that's like, you hate to play against him, but you love him on your team. He's not even that. Wow. Matty V. Shared said, even Matt Vasgersian on MLB Network said, come on, Pirates. This just ain't it, man.
This doesn't make sense.
This just ain't it. I will hold out hope that there's still, I'm just going to say Verdugo, but because that's the one that I've I just wrote something about and said, let's do it.
Yeah.
So I'm on that train right now. I think he actually helps his team because it actually fills a need that this team lacked, right? Yes, he doesn't give us power, but I don't know. Everybody's seen the graphic that's going around, right? About the last time you had a 40 homer guy.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, 1973. The next to last, the team with the guy furthest away from that, or the 29th ranked team, 2004. Since 2004, every team has had a 40 homer guy. We haven't had one since 1973. We've had some guys hit in the upper 30s, very close. I mean, Giles hit 39, but
Didn't Bay hit like 30 something?
he hit 36, I think, one year.
36 or 37.
Bell hit 37. PD hit 36. I mean, there's some guys that got close, right?
Kutch hit 35, didn't he?
31.
31.
Yeah. Same as Reggie. So, you know, there's been some, the uppers, there's been a few, but not very much and not close enough. All right, man. I hope I wasn't too far down here. We're trying. The chat really saved us here tonight, Jake.
Yeah, it did.
They really did.
Yeah.
You guys are
Thanks,
great.
guys.
Making light of a situation. I'm not that upset. So, you know, we're going to get there. You give a guy a chance. He plays for your team. He puts on your team's jersey. He starts to look just a little bit better. That first fight he gets in, I'm going to be fired up. You guys remember that Rich Hill episode? If you don't remember the Rich Hill episode, the real ones that have been around for a minute, remember the Rich Hill episode. This feels a little bit like that.
Mm-hmm.
He gets into a
those
fight
vibes.
for some stupid reason. You might see that. You might see that.
Ron coming in with the slammers.
Famalama ding dong boom. Famalaka or whatever it is. Just trying. Whatever. We gotta stop on that. Gigermosher said we hated Grandal and ended up not being not that bad. Yeah, I don't even know if I really hated him. I didn't feel like that. I mean, maybe, but
I
that's the
wasn't
thing.
big
Maybe
on that
some
side
people
of-
don't hate Pham the way I do. So I don't like to use the word hate either. You know me. I can almost smell spring training. So I am close. By the way, I'm close. Trying to get a friend to go down. I am close to getting my ticket down to go to spring training. So
Nice.
yep. Oh, you know what? We're turning off the music. We did this. We're turning it off. 1 second. Last week, I told Ethan I would fix this. He called me out on it. I appreciate that. Last week, I made assumptions that there were some guys that had meetings and all that stuff. And he's like, hey, I don't remember that. And I was like, oh, man, did I say that? And I went back and listened. And I wasn't clear. Right? We heard things. There was nothing confirmed. Christian Walker. There was another one, first base, that I had said that they were in on, but it seemed like it was like they were reported to have been in on. Okay. Just, I said I'd say something, so I want to say something.
Go ahead and
Go
say
ahead.
something.
You said you were going to say something. Go ahead and say something. Have the guts to say something. Pitt City, what? You're going to be there 2/23. I think that's the day. If I'm going, I'll be there. So hit me up because that's when I will be there. Don't tell your wife you're trying to get a friend to go down. So that's why this is happening. We were both going to go down together and we couldn't figure out what to do with the kids, getting them out of school just because we wanted to go to Florida. So it was basically like, if you can get somebody else, I'll sit out. And so I think I'm close to that. So,
Gotcha.
all right, now let's get out of here, Jake.
I'm bummed out. Yeah. Yeah.
All right. Thanks, guys.
All right, man.
Hit the subscribe button, hit the like button, all those good things. If you're listening to us on a podcast there, you can rate it. Go ahead and do that kind of stuff. Let's go, Bucks.
Go Bucks.
Thanks for listening to my dad and Uncle Jake on the Bridge to Buctober podcast. Follow them on Twitter, Facebook, and Instagram at Bridge2 Buctober. Don't forget to subscribe so you know when new episodes are released. Clear the deck, cannonball coming, and let's go Bucks!